Shadows in Raleigh. Opening scene. The ceiling fan above their bed turned lazily, stirring the heavy North Carolina summer air. Matthew Carter lay awake, staring at the faint cracks in the plaster, listening to the sound of the city outside their Raleigh townhouse, the occasional car passing on Glenwood Avenue, a dog barking in the distance, the hum of cicadas rising and falling like a restless tide. Beside him, his wife, Rachel, shifted. She turned away, clutching her phone against her chest as if guarding a secret even in sleep. Her face, lit briefly by the blue glow of the screen earlier, looked serene now, too serene, practiced, almost. Matthew swallowed, a knot tightening in his chest. It wasn't one thing, but 100 little things, the late nights at work that didn't add up, the way she pulled away when he touched her shoulder in the kitchen, the sudden interest in new clothes and perfume. He told himself he was imagining it. They had been married 12 years. People drifted, routines dulled, affection faded. But deep down, Matthew knew. Something was breaking in their home, and Rachel was at the center of it. Part 1, The Carters. Matthew was 38, a high school history teacher at Broughton High. He loved the routine, morning coffee on the porch, a walk with their golden retriever, Daisy, and the smell of chalk and old books when he stepped into his classroom. His students liked him. He wasn't flashy, but he cared. He coached JV basketball, took kids on field trips to battlefields, and believed in showing up for people. Rachel, 36, worked at a marketing firm downtown. She was ambitious, sharper than him in some ways, always aware of appearances. She had grown up in Charlotte, the daughter of a banker, and carried herself with an air of quiet control. Together they seemed stable, the couple that neighbors waved to, the couple who brought deviled eggs to block parties. But Matthew had begun to notice shadows in the routine. Rachel's laughter at the dinner table felt thinner, her phone always turned face down. One Saturday morning, when Matthew suggested they drive out to Falls Lake like they used to, Rachel smiled tightly and said she had too much work. She disappeared into her office upstairs, and hours later, he heard her muffled voice, laughing, low, not the tone of someone discussing ad campaigns. Part 2, Doubts and Whispers. Suspicion was poison. It seeped into everything. At school, Matthew found himself distracted. He graded papers mechanically, barely noticing when a student asked him if he was okay. At night, he replayed conversations in his head. Rachel had started going to networking events. Once, she came home past midnight, heels dangling from her hand, hair slightly undone. When Matthew asked how it went, she said, "Fine," and disappeared into the bathroom. One evening, Daisy barked as Rachel's phone buzzed on the counter. A message preview flashed before it disappeared, "Can't stop thinking about last night." Matthew froze. His heart pounded so hard he could hear the rush of blood in his ears. He stared at the phone, then at the stairs where Rachel was humming to herself. He could confront her. Demand the truth. But instead, he shoved the thought down, fear and anger warring inside him. Part 3, The Investigation. By August, Raleigh's heat was suffocating. Matthew began driving by Rachel's office downtown, parking a block away, watching. He hated himself for it, but the need for truth gnawed at him. One Wednesday, Rachel claimed she had a late client dinner at a steakhouse. Matthew waited outside for nearly an hour, but she never appeared. Instead, he saw her slip into a silver BMW driven by a man in a tailored suit. They pulled away, laughter visible in the tilt of her head. The sight hollowed him. He drove home in silence, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. That night, Rachel slipped into bed smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't hers. She whispered, "Long night," kissed his cheek, and turned away. Matthew lay still, fighting the urge to scream. Part 4, Confrontation. The breaking point came on a stormy Friday. Rain lashed against the windows as Rachel came home later than ever. Matthew stood in the kitchen, waiting. "Where were you?" he asked, voice low. Rachel blinked, caught off guard. Work. I told you. He stepped closer. Stop lying to me. I saw you. The BMW. The dinners. The messages. Who is he? Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Finally, she said softly, "It's not what you think." Matthew laughed bitterly. "Then what is it, Rachel? Enlighten me." She hesitated, then whispered, "His name is David. He understands me." The words sliced through Matthew. He staggered back, as if struck. Understands you? After 12 years, you need a stranger to understand you? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. You don't see me anymore, Matt. You're comfortable, routine, predictable. David makes me feel alive again. The storm outside seemed to echo the storm inside him. He wanted to shout, to beg, to throw her out. Instead, he turned and walked upstairs, every step heavy with finality. Part 5, Fallout. In the weeks that followed, silence filled the Carter household. They moved around each other like ghosts. Matthew filed for divorce quietly, his heart too bruised to fight. When Rachel asked if they could talk, he said only, "Talk to David." The papers arrived in September. By October, she had moved out, leaving behind the smell of her perfume and the echo of her laughter. Daisy lay by the door for days, waiting for Rachel to come home. Matthew poured his energy into teaching, into his students, into rebuilding himself. But at night, the emptiness pressed in. Part 6, Revenge. Rachel's affair wasn't a secret anymore. Raleigh was smaller than it seemed, and word spread. David, it turned out, was married to a woman named Claire, who taught at a nearby community college. One evening, Claire called Matthew. Her voice trembled with anger. "I know about Rachel and David. I think they believe they're getting away with something. Maybe we should show them they're not." Together, they devised a plan. Claire arranged a dinner, inviting both Rachel and David under false pretenses. Matthew showed up halfway through, dropping divorce papers on the table with a cold smile. Claire confronted David, her voice sharp as glass. The restaurant buzzed with whispers as the truth spilled out in public humiliation. Rachel's face burned with shame. David stammered excuses, but it was too late. Walking out into the cool Raleigh night, Matthew felt no joy, only a hollow sense of justice. Part 7, Resolution. By winter, the divorce was finalized. Matthew kept the townhouse, the dog, and his dignity. Rachel moved into an apartment downtown, her shiny new life already tarnished by scandal. Matthew stood on his porch one frosty morning, watching the sunrise paint the sky pink over the Raleigh skyline. Daisy pressed against his leg, warm and steady. He had lost the woman he thought he would grow old with, but he had found something else, resilience. The shadows had passed, leaving scars, but also clarity. Rachel's betrayal would always haunt him, but it would not define him. Life, like history, moved forward. And Matthew Carter was ready to write the next chapter.